All right, we are recording. So once I get this up. All right, I'm here with Kristen Brabble. So Kristen is the race director for Tackle the Tar. Tackle the Tar. It's an obstacle course race in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Happy to be here.
And so, yeah, first things first, can you please plug your event for next year since it already happened this year?
Yes, our event next year will be the 8th annual Tackle the Tar, and it will be held on Saturday, May the 17th, 2025, at the Rocky Mount Sports Complex in Rocky Mount.
Awesome. Cool. I was going to ask later on how many years it's been going, but you said the 8th one, so there it is.
Just wanted to beat you to the punch.
I appreciate it. Get ahead of me. It's good. It's good. Don't let me ask the questions. Okay, so I was there. I raced it last year. I raced it this year. So I know the venue and where it's all at, but can you talk a little bit about the venue? Can you talk a little bit about the course? I know it changes a little bit, but just in general, and then the obstacles.
Absolutely. So we have a great partnership with the city of Rocky Mount. They have graciously let us use their facilities for years, since the very beginning. And we've changed up the course a little bit every year. We start and end at the Rocky Mount Sports Complex on their football field. So every part of the event itself, starting, ending, registration, food trucks, all of those things are right there on the field. And then you leave the football stadium and you will run a little bit on that same side of 64, but then we send you under 64 in a culvert, a massive culvert. A lot of people think you're going to crawl through that. You're not. It's massive and wide open and you're walking straight through it. You might get your feet wet or sandy. But then you get onto the Battle Park side of Rocky Mount on the other side of 64 and you run through the trees. Most of the time we keep you on dirt paths, biking paths, but no walking paths. We try to keep you off the concrete as much as possible. You're going up rocks, down by the river, down by the Tar River, which is where we get our name from, Tackle the Tar. So you'll get to run.
That question as well.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Keep going.
You get to run on the sandy beaches of the Tar River. And then we come back through 64 and end back at the stadium. But the course is a little bit different every year. We do have some of the same obstacles that you'll see back every year, but we do try to change it up year after year. We've already got some good secret ideas for next year already. But you'll see a 16-foot wall. We have some school buses that you go through in varying obstacles. We use a lot of natural obstacles over in Battle Park, and then we do have a pond that it's just a natural obstacle that we use, and we typically slip and slide down into it from one way or the other, which is always a fun one that people love. You'll find a mud pit or two or three just depending on the weather sometimes, but we always have our main mud pit. And then there's under walls, net crawls, chicken crawls. There's all sorts of things, and then we've got a couple in mind for next year that are special.
So chicken crawl, was that the net that's laying flat on the ground and you have to like lift up as you crawl under? Okay, so yeah. I didn't know the name of that, so that's good to know.
It's a chicken crawl. Yep, that's right.
Interesting. So the obstacles, as far as like signature obstacles go, most obstacle course races have crawls under like barbed wire or netting or some similar thing. Most of them have walls, but you guys have. It was a double trench. I think it was a double trench filled with water, and you had under tires. I don't think I've seen that other races. There are some that have had underwater things. There's several, but not with tires, not dug into the ground. Not that I've seen anyway. So that's a cool one. And then
that's a signature one.
Do you is there a name for the obstacle? So it's two slanted walls going in towards each other and water in between. That one's cool. Is there a name for that?
We call it the M wall.
Okay, well that makes sense. In the shape of the M. Cool. All right.
Yeah, very complicated name. Very creative we were.
Hey, it works. Yeah. Last year when I ran it, I think it was kind of the reverse direction to this year because, like you mentioned, sometimes you go in the pond one side, sometimes you go in the other. last year we went in the way we came out this year, and vice versa. I think my watch is not perfect, obviously, but I think I had it at like 3.2-ish miles or something like that. So it's normally a 5K, correct?
That's right. Yes. Sometimes we get a little crazy. I know one year we ended up at like 3.67 miles. When we get over in Battle Park, we have a little bit of fun, but most of the time we try our best to keep it around 3.2.
Cool. And then the tunnels under the highway, what are those called?
Culverts.
Culverts. Okay. So like you said, they're huge. They are huge. I ran through them both years. This year, I don't remember. I guess it was out and back last year too, but I don't remember that. But this year, yeah, the water's like 1.5 feet deep, maybe something like that. And on the one side, and yeah, running back the other side, it was all sand. It was funny too, because I don't know his name, but whoever was running with me at the time was a little bit ahead of me. And when they ran into the dark in the sand, they're like, "Oh, what's this?" Because you can't see where you're stepping unless after a few seconds your eyes adjust. But at first, you're just running into the darkness.
Yes, that I would say that's one of the coolest things about our race, because whoever gets to run under or go under the highway, and we absolutely love it. And it's two totally different obstacles going and coming, because one of them is flat concrete and you're wading through water is not the right word. And some years it's barely at your ankles. This year it was closer to your knees, just depending on how much it rains during the event or before the event. And then coming back, it's all sandy except for one little spot in the middle where there's just a hole, and you have to jump it, or you can go right through it if you want to.
I don't remember the hole.
You don't?
No, I might have like accidentally jumped out. I don't know. I don't remember the hole.
It's not a big one, but it's like a little trench in the middle of that sandy side. And I get to hear it every year of, you need to light that up. Well, no, it's an obstacle course. That's the goal here, is to trick you.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I might have accidentally just stepped over it. Luckily, because I don't remember a trench. Okay.
Yes. Well, good. You didn't fall into it then.
Yeah. Well, that is good. So you said this coming year, 2025, will be the 8th year that Tackled the Tar's been run. How many years have you been directing it?
Since the beginning. It was was my baby.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Oh, wow. How has it changed from like year 1, 2, 3 to where it is now?
It has changed so much. I would say the first 2 or 3 years, we were extremely worried about what we were doing, because we truly had no idea what we were doing. I had done the Warrior Dash several times in Charlotte. And I think they've stopped doing those races within the last few years.
Warrior Dash is dead. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was a really fun event. And and I'm from the eastern part of North Carolina, and we would drive, 4 to 5 hours to that event every year, and we'd spend a day or two. We'd spend a day or two out there just hanging out at the event. And I'm not a runner, so I'll start there. I'm not a runner, but I have people on the race committee who are runners. But I like to play in the mud and figure out obstacles. That's what we like to do as a family. And then we were talking about, we need a signature project here in Rocky Mount to raise funds. And so I started talking about, well, we could start an obstacle course race. We only have, regular street 5Ks here. Let's do something different, because there really wasn't a lot of them east of Raleigh, especially here near Rocky Mount within a good hour or more. And so we started, our first race was in 2016. The first race, we had about 320 runners or so.
It's not bad at all for a first one.
No, it was a really good turnout. And it happened to be like the hottest race we've ever had. So it was probably in the 80s in May, of course. And didn't rain, not a cloud in the sky. And we ran the whole course nowhere near shade. And so by the time that all the runners got back, they were like, this was awful. It was like, this is a great course. We love the obstacles, but we can't run in this 80 degrees and there's no shade. I was like, I got it. I'll fix that for next year. So after the first year, we learned that most of the course needs to be in the shade. And so we've changed that. And we did not realize that we could go under Highway 64 the first year And so from year 2 on, we've been going under 64 and using Battle Park.
Cool.
So the first year was okay, and then it just got better and better from there. And then we did take a 2-year break during the COVID time frame. I'm sure like a lot of folks did. And then we picked it back up last year.
Sweet. Cool.
Yes.
So you've been with it from the start. You essentially started it. What is your favorite part about being a race director?
Oh, that's a tough question. I would say I do it every day for the scholarships. Is what, we give all of our proceeds straight to our local colleges to send kids to college, and that's probably the biggest thing to me. I love the event, and I love how much it draws people to Rocky Mount from all over the state. We also had 5 other states included other than North Carolina. And we have that pretty much every year, people. And I'm sure they're not here just for our event, but I like to think they are.
It might be.
They might be. They might. Well, one of them was from California this year, so I don't feel like they came just for NASCAR. But in my mind, they did.
Yeah.
So I love that they get to see our Rocky Mount community and how much we've grown and changed over the years. Because I think some people still have a negative view of Rocky Mount. And that's my mission, is to figure out how to change that. And to give back to the students in this area to be able to go to college and hopefully keep kids in this area at Nash, Edgecombe, and Wesleyan. Just hoping we can keep them here, because we do have an older community and we need younger folks in Rocky Mount. So that's probably my biggest driver every year.
Cool. I did not know almost any of that. I was going to ask about the charity portion of it. You've already touched on it a little bit. When I was there was a lady up front at like the first tent when you walk through the gate.
Brenda Shaw. I'm sure that's her.
Curly hair.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So she asked me like how the race went and everything. And then she said that this year, with the donations, you guys have topped over 500,000 donations total over the lifespan of the race now.
So yes, but that doesn't include any money that we've given this year. So we passed 510,000 right after our 7th annual race last year. We typically give out the money in the October time frame, after we've had time to collect everything and then pay anything from there. But the colleges get it for the fall semester. But yeah, we've given over 510,000, and I imagine we'll give another 100,000 this year.
That's wow. That's awesome.
Yes.
Gracious. And that's going to students to attend college.
Yes, it's actually local students to attend our local colleges. So cool. Our mission is to keep kids local. So if they are residents in any age, but of Nash and Edgecombe County, and they're going to school in one of our 3 colleges in Nash or university in Nash or Edgecombe counties, that they can apply for the scholarship.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yes.
What a cool project. That's something I've also been trying to highlight with all these interviews of small and local races around the country, is most of them, if not all of them, actually, I think all of them so far that I've interviewed, donate money to some cause or charity. Some of them, like yours, kind of focus on that with all of the proceeds, and some of them are for profit but then still donate. So it's not, the community of obstacle course racing is awesome. The people are cool. The races themselves are super fun. They're fun to train for. They're fun to do. They're fun to bring the family to. But also, you're giving money to a good cause 99% of the time, at least in my research so far. So it's super cool that way.
Yeah, well, ours is done by the Rocky Mount Rotary Club, and it's all run through our nonprofit, and everybody here is volunteers. None of us are paid. And we wouldn't want to be. I mean, it's all giving back to us, and we thoroughly enjoy doing that. But it's been interesting to see how we've been able to continue to give over the years, because we raise money. We'll start working on our sponsorship letter within the next few weeks for next year, and we'll start raising money. We do apply for some grants, and then the runner registration is another piece of income that really just offsets the cost of the race. All of the obstacles are built by volunteers, not your average Joe volunteer. They're typically contractors
Oh, nice.
that we give an in-kind sponsorship to, and they'll build us the obstacle for us. They'll come set it up, and then they'll take it down for us. And store it during the year. So they're fantastic sponsors who will do that. And
that's rare. That's awesome.
Yes, yes. We have a sponsor. We have a tractor. We have a trailer, but a tractor trailer that stores most of our obstacles. But some of the larger ones can't go in the trailer, so they're sitting at warehouses of our contractors, which is great. But all of our grant money and the runner fees go to cover all of our expenses. So truly, all of our sponsorship income is given straight to the schools and the colleges for those students.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, speaking of that, so sponsors want to put money towards events where they're going to be seen, so that people, buy their thing or attend their stuff, whatever. So how many participants, you mentioned like your first ever one was 300 some, how many, if you can give an average, do you get per year now, or like what the most recent year was?
Yeah, we would typically get, this year was about 700, a little more, and we'll typically have 700 or more every year. This let's see. So it's grown every year. We had one year we had about 800, but we had a very large group that made up the majority of that, that we were missing. But otherwise, it's really close to 700. And our sponsors, we'll take anybody, and we can do in kind. They can do cash. We have a lot of marketing sponsors who give us in-kind donations, whether it's, Bob 93.3 or First Media Radio here in Rocky Mount. We have a lot of good partnerships. Life 103. We have a lot of good partnerships with the radio stations. We've got a good partnership with the local paper. There's a few that if sponsors want to reach out to, we're completely open on the marketing front to in-kind sponsorship. And then we have sponsor levels that range from, $50 if you want to give us that, or they go all the way up to 15,000. I'd say the majority of our sponsors are between the 500 and 2,000 level. And we get about 90 sponsors a year. We have a great sponsorship group.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're very good at getting ahead of my questions.
Sorry.
So you mentioned, no, it's good. It's good.
Just
it makes me
excited.
remember too. So you mentioned like the in-kind marketing with the radio stations and stuff. One thing that it's essential for all obstacle course races in general is the marketing. And some races struggle with that. What types of things do you do aside from the in-kind radio and other marketing? What types of things do you do to market your event?
We do a lot of social media advertising. Is maybe not a lot is the right word, but that would be our primary focus, would be social media advertising. But I'll say we're probably one of the events that have struggled with marketing as well in the past. For a volunteer organization, we're not. We do the best we can, and we always want to do a little better every year. We've done billboards in the past. We've had Lamar. They have donated billboard space for us, and we just had to buy the vinyl. So we've had a bunch of different things, but I would say our main focus has been social media recently. And then again, the really good partnership we've had with the radios has been really good for us.
Awesome.
We just need more of them.
So social media is people who listen to these, if they listen to multiple episodes, are going to know that I just despise social media pretty much in general. It's not all right. Like, well, it's a good thing now. It's a good thing most of the time, right? And then it's just a waste of time a lot of the time. Yeah. I just don't really like using it. I'd rather do other things with my time. But here I am, and I have to use it all the time. So whatever, fine. How do you, since it's a volunteer group, how do you handle that? Who runs it, and how do you manage that stuff?
Yeah, so we actually have several different volunteer committees. We have a race committee, and I've got two co-chairs of that committee. We've got a marketing committee, which is made up of a few folks.
Nice.
Two co-chairs of that committee. We have a volunteer group. We also have a Friday night event, which is probably good for sponsors to know. We partner again with the city of Rocky Mount, and they help us pretty much fund basically the Friday night event where packet pickup is. So packet pickup is Friday night before the event. You can also pick it up the day of, but since you've already got to come out if you want to, we wanted to have something for participants to do that evening. So there's a family fun night out there every year, as long as it doesn't rain. But we typically have a live band, plenty of activities for the kids, food trucks. Some years we have a movie on the lawn when it gets dark, and it's just a really fun, family fun night. I've seen other races, larger races do it where it's more of a concert type event. Ours is not. It's more, again, kids activities, bounce houses, things like that.
Nice. Yeah, family. So that's one thing I noticed this year, especially. I just probably wasn't paying attention last year, but there were so many full families out there, like mom, dad, bunch of kids, strollers, kids running all over the place, throwing stuff around because you have the whole field out there. So it's an awesome event, especially for families, because you also have kids running the event, right?
Yes. Ages 8 to 13, really, running the kids run, and they have a ball. It's the best part of the event, watching those kids just get pumped about going in the mud. That's really why they came.
That's the first heat of the day, correct?
It is. Yeah.
Okay,
The 8:45 run is the kids.
And how far is the kids course?
It's just 1 mile. Yeah.
Nice.
And they stay on this side of 64. We don't send them under the culverts. Everything is they stay on our side of 64 so we can keep an eye on them. But they get to go through the pond and the mud and the school bus. I mean, they get to do so many of the obstacles, the main obstacles, which is why we put them closer to the field.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it would be super fun for a kid to do that event, especially if like an 8-year-old's running a mile. That's a decent distance.
Yes. Well, we've even had parents say, "Hey, look, they don't want to run the mile, but can they just go get in the mud?" Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to pay $25 for them to go get in the mud, please bring
By
them.
all means.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They can get a medal at the end if they want it. I don't mind.
Speaking of medals, so I have the one from this year. It's a cool medal. Good ribbon, cool texture, cool design. Shoot. I don't know where. Oh, the other one from last year's up there too. Whatever. This year's most recent. Good medal. And then so the prizes at the race, you do top 3 male, female, right? And then top 3 age group for different age groups.
That's right. Male and female free.
Glass.
Look at you go.
Have it today. So cool
It's a
medal.
great glass.
Yeah, nice glass. I've 2 of them now, so it's keeping my cupboards full.
Keep it up. Come back and get another one next year, and then the next year you'll have a whole set of 4.
Next year I'll be back again.
Yes.
Medals are like a big reason why people do events. As lame as it sounds, because you could probably go out and buy a medal for like $5-10 or something. I don't know how much they cost a piece, but it's a nice medal.
About $5. It's close to that. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
I've always wondered what they were. Thank you.
I'll send you the receipt if you want to see it.
Obviously you're buying in bulk. It's cheaper per medal in bulk, right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's actually a little bit cheaper than $5. We have a good medal vendor who's worked with us the last 3 years, and they're fun because they can help us change it up every year. And I don't have a creative bone in my body. I can build an obstacle course, but I couldn't come up with a medal design. And so I kind of give them a direction, and I'm like, can you just come up with something? And this year I was like, I don't like any of these. Let's try one more time. And their second revisions were great. And so we picked from those. But they've been a great vendor to work with too.
Cool. Photos. So can you talk about how photos work? Because there are big brown obstacle course races that charge for photos. So how's that work for you guys?
They are free. we try to keep everything as simple at our event as possible. And don't let me forget to talk about parking, so I can tell you one fun story about that.
Sure.
But pretty much the only thing that you pay for at our event is the race ticket itself, and a little bit of food if you want it, but you get a free beer while you're there. What was the question? I was going somewhere.
Shoot.
I was going somewhere.
That's a great question.
Look at us go.
What did I ask about? It was the medals, and then it was something else.
It was important because I had a point.
You said to mention the parking, and somehow that was related. Oh, the race photos. Wow.
The race photos. Yeah. Okay. All right. Don't put that in the interview.
It'll be there. It's fine.
It'll be great. Yeah, photos. They're free. So we have a photographer in our Rotary Club. So he's always there every year. And then we look for volunteer photographers, and it's a great way for them to get their name out too. And so we have a lot of volunteer photographers. We had 5 this year, I believe. And they'll send us all of their photos, and then we will get them uploaded to social media. We will also get them uploaded to our website at some point, but I actually received one of their flash drives today.
Nice.
So I need to get all of that downloaded and up, but they post it on their social media. We'll post it on ours, and everyone can just download whatever it is they want to. We do not charge for them.
Cool.
Yes.
It's lovely. Free photos are a lovely thing.
Yes.
That's
and
another reason why people do races, is to have proof that they did the race.
Well, you will have proof at our race because there's a ton of photos taken that day. It's amazing. Yes.
I saw one of the albums, but I did not know that there would be even more coming. So
there's more coming. There are more coming. I've got one flash drive, and I have 2 other photographers that I just recently, I think the end of last week, downloaded all of their photos. So I just need to get them out there.
Sweet.
It's on my list. It's on my list of things to do.
I want to hear about this parking lot thing.
Yeah, so we do charge for parking. It was one of the things that the Warrior Dash did. So it was one of the things that I just remember from my time then. But we don't actually do the parking. We have been working with Peacemakers. It's a local nonprofit that works with kids after school, tutoring, and they also have a school program as well. But they're another nonprofit that we brought into this, and we could easily do the parking if we wanted to and make that extra money. But we thought this would be a good way to also help another nonprofit in the area. So they didn't have to put on their own event. They could just tag on to ours. So all of that money is theirs.
So it's $5. At least that's what I paid.
It is $5.
Okay. And so all of that is going to Peacemakers.
It is straight to their nonprofit. Yep.
Nice. I did not know that. So
yes.
Okay, slightly switching gears. What do you think, I've asked everyone this, what do you think is the hardest part about hosting / organizing an obstacle course race?
Getting all your ducks in a row. And by that, I mean people. It's always fun trying to coordinate who's going to be where, when. In the beginning, it was more figuring out what we wanted to do. And now that we have a good grasp on what an obstacle course looks like, and what obstacles work, what obstacles don't work, what people like to do versus what they don't, we feel like we have a pretty good grasp on the event itself, or the idea of the event itself. But it's getting everyone lined up, like the photographers, for example, like getting golf carts out there to transport volunteers around, getting the volunteers, to sign up and make sure they're there. So it's just getting all the little ducks and pieces in a row for the event itself.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Logistics are, the more people are involved, the more things are involved, the harder everything is always. So.
Exactly right.
Cool. So prizes, I already talked about the glass. Are there any other prizes for like top competitors who want to come to your race, or is it generally just like the glass award?
It's the glass award. Yeah.
Cool.
The kids also get an award for their top male and female threes. They're water bottles, not, beer glasses, but yes, that's it.
It's actually kind of funny because I didn't know there was beer there. I don't really drink much, hardly ever, but I had the glass in my hand after I think you gave it to me on stage. And so I came down and then someone was like, oh yeah, where's your beer, man? You got to get your beer. And I was like, what beer?
Yeah.
That's cool,
Yes.
though.
All the participants get a free beer as long as they're over 21.
Nice. Vendors at the location. You mentioned there's multiple vendors there, like food trucks and things like that. I noticed there was Chick-fil-A there, which everyone loves.
Yes.
Do you know like roughly how many you normally have as far as food vendors or drink vendors or whatever?
Yeah, we typically have one beer vendor. Carolina Eagle has been our sponsor every year for that. And then Chick-fil-A has pretty much been our go-to every year. And he's been a fantastic sponsor as well of ours. And then this year we had an Italian ice vendor. I would say typically we try to stick to those three. Definitely Chick-fil-A and the beer vendor. And then we'll kind of switch it up year after year. I think we had a slushy vendor one year. But, people don't need that much at 10 o'clock in the morning. So a little Chick-fil-A and a little beer is pretty good. But Friday night, I think we had 6 food trucks. We had 6 different type food trucks, beer vendor as well. So it was a big variety on Friday night because it's a much different draw. I mean, you're out there from 6 to 9. It's supper time. You want things to do like that. So, yeah. And then we have vendors who are sponsors. Our most of our sponsor packages come with a vendor booth. If you want it, you can have it Friday night and or Saturday if you want to. And then we've had a few folks that reach out and just wanted to come out and set up their tent for whatever reason. The city wanted to come out and set up a recreational booth. And so we've got different vendors who come for that as well. And I mean, as you saw, it's a football field. We can fit as many people on it as we want to. So the more the merrier to us.
Nice. Very random question. So there was a tent there with a bunch of chessboards. What was that?
It's actually one of our sponsors. And it's a very long story, but he is a chess player and has played all over the place, goes to New Orleans several times a year to play in a tournament down there with one of the famous chess guys. So he has been trying to bring chess back to everywhere, but really to the Rocky Mount area. And so he wasn't out there last year, but he was this year, and he had been out there in previous years as well. So, and it was a big hit. This was the first time he brought out his gigantic board. And there were people all over that. So it was cool.
Yeah, because I saw that and I was like, I like chess. I'm just not sure how it fits here, but that's cool. If he's just trying to make chess more popular, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're open. We're open to most anything being out there. If you want to come out there and have something for the public to do, we're open to it. We were supposed to have a vendor doing chiropractic work out there, but something came up at the last minute and they couldn't come. And one lady also talked about coming out and doing massages. So, hey, I'm open to about anything.
Those would be both get adjusted and then get a massage. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, next year. Hopefully next year we can make that happen.
Cool. For post-race hydration / snacks, what type of stuff do you guys like to have at the finish line?
Water. We have water at the finish line.
Good.
No, but we have water throughout the course, but there are bottles of water at the finish line. We don't have any snacks. Funny enough that you said that. There are peanuts in, or there were this year. And I think there were last year. Or Chex Mix was this year. Peanuts were last year in the runner bags. And then we have a sponsor who's been with us for the last 2 years who has done the finish line. They've given out things at the finish line, water and all sorts of things, but we've never had a specific snack for a post run.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A, does that count?
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure there was a cooler with Gatorades in it.
Was there this year?
I'm pretty sure I went to a cooler and grabbed a Gatorade and it was at the finish line, so I don't think I was taking someone's personal stuff.
No, it very well could have been our
Okay,
sponsor. Our sponsor at the finish line brought Gatorade out for everyone. That would not surprise me because they're a wonderful sponsor to do that.
cool. All right, I'm just hoping I'm not losing my mind and misremembering it, but okay,
You
cool.
probably just stole someone's Gatorade. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. They didn't seem like displeased by it. I don't know. Maybe I just looked tired and exhausted. I was pretty
It felt
tired
bad.
after that.
Yeah.
More than likely. I was like, I remember running it last year and I was like, man, that was, so the course isn't super hilly overall, but there are some like random steep hills throughout. And I felt like remembering back to last year, leading up to the race this year, I was thinking, the terrain's not that bad. I shouldn't be like dying at the end or hurting too bad. But maybe I'm just like in worse shape this year or something. Because when I finished this year, I was like, thank goodness. I just felt like more tired this year afterwards. I don't know.
We sent you over more rocks and more little hills this
Okay,
year than we had in the past. So you're right. You're exactly right. The last year
cool.
we tried to stay on flat land a little bit more, and the city hadn't done as much work in the park to make dirt bike paths and things like that, or
Hmm,
mountain bike. Not say dirt bikes, mountain bike paths. And so we went near a lot of those this time, and they're closer to some hills.
cool. All right. So it's just not me getting worse. That's
No,
good.
no,
Good to know. All right.
it's not you.
Shoot. I'm trying to think if there's anything I've left out at this point. We have covered parking. We've covered the vendors. We've covered the terrain, the obstacles. Man, prizes, sponsor. I think we've covered everything at this point. Is there
Well,
anything else about your race that you want people to know, think people should know, anything like that?
I think it's the best race around, in my personal opinion. No, but I think it's different than what most people have experienced before because of because of 64. And I think it's a really well run event now. I couldn't have said that the first year, maybe two, but it's a well run event. I think everyone on our team knows what they're doing. Our volunteers have been back year after year, and so I think everyone will have a very enjoyable race. And the obstacles are really fun, and they only get better every year.
I can attest to it being well run, at least from what you can see as a spectator on the outside, because waves were going off like smooth, nothing. I didn't see anything get hooked up or like any problems or anything. And obviously, like things could go horrible in the background and
Yeah,
still look fine on the outside, and we would never know, which means it was actually run well.
that's the
Yeah.
goal. That's the goal right there. I did have one mistake this year, and I kicked myself all day for it. Normally, we get there at 5 o'clock in the morning to get everything finished. We're out there Thursday and Friday getting the course set up and mapped and obstacles set up. So we're out there for 2 full days before the
Mhm.
event. And then we arrive about 5 o'clock and just get everything, the final touches on everything. And this year, I forgot to put out the kids' medals. They were still in the locker room, and so someone came up to me just frantic. Where are the kids' medals? The kids really need them. They're upset they're not getting them. And I was like,
Oh
oh my god!
no.
So we took off in a sprint and got them, and within 2 minutes they were out there. But it was just one of the little pieces that I forgot.
Hey, well, I mean, yeah, for a moment, but they still got them, so that's cool.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. They were
There are
still
a lot
there.
of
Order. They were pretty.
there are some events where medals run out and people don't get them for weeks to months afterwards in the mail. So yeah, they were there.
Yeah,
That's good. Minor hiccup.
yeah. That would drive me insane. I could not do that. We actually ordered the kids medals. Everything has to be ordered, and that's a fun thing that people don't
Mhm.
know. Everything has to be ordered so far in advance, and then everyone likes to register well after that deadline, which is fine. Which is fine. We have learned to anticipate that. We've never run out of medals, and we've never run out of shirts. Knock on wood. But this year we came close. So when the kids signed up, I had ordered a good, you know, 20% more of the kids medals, and by about a week and a half before race day, I had more kids signed up than I had medals. So I called my medal vendor and I was like, you got to do something. I need them. And they got them here the Friday before race day, and it was
Nice.
perfect. We didn't run out of medals,
Right.
but yeah, I'm gonna try real hard to never run out of those things.
Wow, very nice. Good on them too for getting them there in time. That's crazy.
They were
Short
fantastic.
timeline.
If it was the adult medals, I don't think they could have done it, but the kids medals come from a different vendor and they're local.
Okay, well, yeah, that certainly helps.
Yes.
Shoot, I had another question actually, and I'm gonna blank on it again. This happens about once every interview, so
That's okay. Well, we've done it twice today, so look at us go.
it's true. I'm on a roll. Man, it had something to do with the metals and quantities. Oh, okay. The video went out for a second there. I can't remember. So it's fine. It's whatever. We got enough.
You'll think of it as soon as we hang up.
Yep, no doubt. And then I'll email you and put it in text or something later.
That sounds great.
Cool.
But I will say the last thing, if you don't mind. We're
Go ahead.
Again, we're a volunteer organization. So if anyone is super passionate about obstacle courses and sending kids to college, we are all ears. We are always looking for new help and talent too, and you can do a lot of it from afar, so you don't have to be in Rocky Mount. So if anyone is ever interested in helping us set up this event, or around the marketing front or anything, we're totally open.
Sweet. And I remember what I was going to ask. So it's wow. Never mind.
You should just email it to me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fine. Yes. So if anyone's interested, how can they reach out? Should they go through the website or what?
Yes. The website, tacklethetar.com, has all of our contact information. It's just info@tacklethetar.com. We're super complicated like that. And all the emails come straight to me, and my phone number is also on the website. So you can reach out, and happy to talk anytime.
Awesome. And now I have remembered it. How long does the early bird pricing last?
So we have stair-step tiered pricing. On race weekend, it's $30, and then it goes up to $35, and then it increases every, I want to say, couple of months by $5 or $10. And then it goes from $30 to $75 on race day. So just depending on when you come in.
So people should sign up now and pay $35 instead of double that the week before the race.
That would so help me with t-shirt and medal orders. Yes, it absolutely would. Well, but I'll take you up to the last minute. Yeah.
What's that?
I said, but I'll take you up to the last minute. So don't let that stop anyone.
All right. So tacklethetar.com, correct?
Yes.
And sign up now. And you can buy 2 tickets, one for you and one for a friend or family member, and pay the same price as you would a week before the event if you just bought it for yourself.
Technically less, but yes, you're right.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to stop there before I think of more and then forget more.
Okay. That sounds
Sorry
good.
about that. It's just how it goes.
It happens to me all the time. I'm real good at getting sidetracked on something and forgot what the original question was.
Yeah, that's all right. Cool. Thank you, Kristen. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for telling us about Tackle the Tar and especially about the good it's doing with giving sponsorships to local students in Rocky Mount. That's an awesome cause. And thank you. Yeah, thank you for taking the time to talk.
Of course. Thank you for asking me to do this. It's great to be able to get our name out there even more.
Absolutely. I will talk to you later and hopefully see you at the race next year.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Bye.